Hello. This episode, we're joined by Anna Avaliani, Director of Enterprise at the Royal Academy of Engineering Enterprise Hub. We'll be hearing about how the Enterprise Hub has been involved in up to 10% of all UK deep tech startups.
One of the characteristics of deep tech companies is that they require substantial sums of money and long period of time to kind of go from lab to market. So this particular team has delivered phenomenal results in a relatively short space of time.
Impressively, Enterprise Hub startups have raised up to 3.4 billion in investment.
The Enterprise Hub was established back in 2013 with the sole purpose of supporting engineering and technology founders. The fellows of the Academy felt that back then there wasn't a single place for engineering and tech founders to go to for all of their startup and scale-up needs.
We'll be hearing about the success story of Oxford quantum computing startup Oxford Ionics, who were recently acquired for over $1 billion.
They were sold just for over £1 billion, which is a brilliant achievement for a deep tech UK engineering companies.
This is Innovation Unlocked by Mathis and Squire. Hello. So this week I'm joined by Anna Avaliani from the Royal Academy of Engineering Enterprise Hub. So Anna is the Director of Enterprise at the Royal Academy of Engineering, overseeing the Academy's global entrepreneurship and commercialisation programme portfolio. Under Anna's leadership, the Enterprise Hub has been named one of the top European accelerators by the FT and Statista for 2 years in a row. Well done. Anna has overseen the regional expansion of the Enterprise Hub network across the UK and the evolution of the Academy's entrepreneurship programme portfolio, now supporting almost 10% of all UK deep tech spinout. Wow, that's a high number. That's very impressive. Prior to joining the Academy, Anna worked at PA Consulting Group, technology and innovation consultancy firm, leading on high-profile projects, including the setup of the UK-Lebanon Tech Hub in Lebanon, Beirut. Anna sits on the advisory board for Women in Spinouts, a case for action, and you have been named one of the Inspiring 50 Women in Tech in Europe, and is a senior fellow at the University of Strathclyde. And just before I sort of hand over to you in a sec, Anna, there are some stats here that I thought were really incredible and probably are even more incredible since the time they were written. So I've got here that there's over 18 million in grants awarded by the Enterprise Hub, over 500 entrepreneurs supported, 5,600 jobs created by the community, and 3.4 billion raised by Hub member startups, which is very impressive figures.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here. So
maybe just as a sort of brief introduction, can you tell us a little bit about the Enterprise Hub and how it works and how it fits in with the Royal Academy of Engineering?
Yes. So the Enterprise Hub was established back in 2013 with the sole purpose of supporting engineering and technology founders. The fellows of the Academy felt that back then there wasn't a single place for engineering and tech founders to go to for all of their startup and scale-up needs. So that's how the Enterprise Hub started many years ago now. And we had a relatively humble beginnings, really. We were giving out grants to academic founders who were looking to spin out companies. So 10 plus years on, we now have a number of different programs and different mechanisms to support deep tech founders. So we're working with people who are looking to solve some of the quirkiest, some of the greatest problems of our lives, really. And deep tech is our area of expertise. We're quite unique in what we offer. And this is in the sense of the combination of equity-free funding that we are providing. It's also the bespoke mentoring and coaching that is provided by the fellows of the Academy, who are some of the best and the brightest engineering and technology minds in the UK and arguably internationally as well, and also our regional footprint as well. So the Academy is a national body, and there are a number of different enterprise hubs that we have set up across the UK. So supporting deep tech founders and scale-up business leaders is our core purpose, and that's what we're good at.
Amazing. I was going to say, it felt like last year was your 10-year anniversary, but I think maybe it was 2 years ago now, so it's 12 years this year.
Yes.
How's the Enterprise Hub evolved over that time? I mean, you talked about the regional hubs that have opened, and it's been interesting to see them. I think Newcastle was the latest one that opened, and but sort of how else has the hub changed over that period?
Yes, very very good question. We're actually opening our Liverpool hub, formally launching it next Tuesday. So we'll have our president, Sir John Lazar, with us up in Liverpool. So the hub has evolved significantly, Andy. So as I said, we started by giving out 7 enterprise fellowships 12, 13 years ago now, and since then we have evolved our program offer, and we have also evolved the way we work within the ecosystem and engage with others. So collaboration first is one of the Academy values, and we're very conscious that we are a medium-sized charity, incredibly ambitious. We've got a mission to engineer better lives, and we know that we need to work with others in order for us to deliver on that mission and vision. So we have been working in different parts of the country. We've set up five different hubs. We also have program offers that we have evolved as well. So we've got Regional Talent Engine program, which is for mature entrepreneurs, people who are leaving their long-term engineering careers and are keen to pursue entrepreneurship, I suppose, as a career choice. We developed that program in response to the pandemic, because large number of engineering companies were were making people redundant. So we wanted to make sure that there was an offer for that group. We also have a scale-up program as well, which we relaunched a few years ago now. This is Shot Scale-Up Accelerator, and we also have quite a substantial body of work on the policy side as well. So we publish an annual State of UK Deep Tech report, and also Spotlight on Spinout report as well. Which
I do enjoy reading both of those reports. They're very interesting.
Thank you very much. And of course, you know all this because we've been partnering with Mathers and Squire for over almost 10 years now.
Yeah. I remember having a meeting, in fact, almost 8 years ago, I think in either this room or the room over there, to sort of talking about us supporting the hub. So it's been very impressive. I think one of the things that I enjoy most about the Enterprise Hub is actually the caliber of just everything, the caliber of the businesses that you get involved, the ventures, the startups, but also the support, the mentors. And I think a lot of that, I guess, is drawn from the Royal Academy itself and the fellows that you can get to help act as mentors for the hub.
Yes, absolutely. We're very, very selective. Again, we are very keen to ensure that we are delivering maximum impact. We're a national charity, so from our point of view, it is all about delivering public benefit and charitable impact, maximizing charitable impact. So our programs are super competitive, and we do put our applicants through quite a rigorous and tough process. You're absolutely right. We're leaning very heavily on the fellows of the Academy. So for those who don't know much about the Academy is a fellowship of about 1,600 men and women who are elected into the fellowship for their contribution to the field of engineering, and about half of them are academics, and another half come from business backgrounds. Some of them lead some of the best known engineering companies in this country and globally, and a lot of them are also entrepreneurs and investors themselves. So it's a very rich pool. It's quite a unique network, global network that we can rely on. Earlier in the introduction, you spoke about the Financial Times ranking. So we are third in the UK overall, but we are first as far as network is concerned.
Yeah.
So it's not too surprising given the fellowship, but also the reach of the global reach of the Academy.
Yeah, wow, that's so impressive. Yeah, first for the networking. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all, but yeah, very, very well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you think are the trends that you're seeing happen over time? Are there different within deep tech itself? Are you seeing different interests in deep tech, and are they sort of here to stay, or are they perhaps fads that are sort of petering out, or what do you see? How do you see that evolving, the landscape?
Yes. So look, deep tech landscape has been incredibly vibrant in the last few years. Artificial intelligence is not a surprise that's a big area of interest to us, and we're seeing quite a lot of founders who are working in that space, and it's exciting. So one of the things that the Academy is very interested in is practical application of AI. So I feel that is definitely something that's going to be with us for a very long time. And what we are focusing on at the moment is that sort of practical application of AI. And you will see this throughout the work of the Academy. We have hosted a number of people summits. We call them in different parts of the country, bringing together general public, also founders, innovators, policymakers, talking about AI and the impact of this new technology on all of us. And it's been interesting kind of looking at fears and hopes, and looking at the adoption of this new technology. So AI, most definitely. One area that I personally find fascinating is this intersection between engineering and biology. This is absolutely phenomenal. Some of the innovations that we're seeing in that space is just brilliant.
And I think also highlights the breadth of the work that you guys touch on, because I think when someone says engineering, they kind of might think, like steel structures, bridges, engines, maybe.
Yes.
And I'd say that's certainly a view that was initially perceived by some of my colleagues. And then, when we sort of looked into the businesses that you support and the range of technologies, it's like, no, there's chemistry here, there's biology here, there's engineering is actually a very broad umbrella.
Yes, we define engineering very, very broadly, and we often say that we are supporting engineering and technology companies, because just to address that perception, or because it's when you talk about engineering, quite often people are still thinking high vis, hard hat, kind of civil engineering, and just not to kind of move away from your question, but perhaps I ought to mention a digital campaign that the Academy has been running for quite some time for young people, called This is Engineering, to demystify engineering careers and to demonstrate that there are many different, you don't have to just build bridges and buildings, even though that's super exciting. You can be an engineer, chemical engineer, and, make, I don't know, soap, or, you can be a lighting engineer and work in fashion industry, or it's engineering it takes many different shapes and forms, and it can be and should be appealing to youngsters. So our aim, we don't have enough engineers in this country. So one of the aims of the Academy is to continue to promote the profession to young people and their teachers and their families, to make sure that they show interest at an early age and hopefully pursue a career in engineering, because it is such an important discipline, and it has impact on almost everything that we do daily.
Completely, totally. All very, very valid and noble efforts there. So you talked a little bit about AI.
Yes.
But also there's quantum computing that I know the Hub does a lot with. There's enterprise fellows that I've worked with that are in the quantum sector. And we had recently the news of Oxford Ionics, the first unicorn. So they were an Enterprise Hub alumni, weren't they?
Yes, indeed. And we're super excited, and excited for them, but also excited for us as well, because this is the very first unicorn by acquisition. They were sold just for over £1 billion, which is a brilliant achievement for a deep tech engineering, UK engineering company. So they're a spinout from Oxford University, which again talks to some brilliant science and technology base that exists in this country. So yes, very good news for the UK, for the founders, and for the Hub.
And do you think it might act as a catalyst for other members of the Hub and just for the quantum community as a whole?
We very much hope so. You can't be what you can't see. So, they are a really, really fantastic case study. They have gone from being a spin out to, a unicorn by acquisition in a relatively short period of time. One of the things that we see, or one of the characteristics of deep tech companies, is that they require substantial sums of money and long period of time to kind of go from lab to market. So this particular team has delivered phenomenal results in a relatively short space of time. But brilliant technology, very exciting time for the investors as well who have backed them.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a LinkedIn post by one of the founders, and he said like 5 years ago we founded the company, and then it was COVID, and we had our very young child, and sort of fast forward 5 years, and we've now got 4 kids, and managed to successfully exit the business. So I'm always in awe of people like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, having a family and a startup.
Yeah,
it is, yes, quite difficult.
So the acquiring company, they were an American company, were they?
Yeah. Indeed, yes.
And so I know there's efforts that the Hub do through other programs. I think there's the Explore program that you do. Could you talk a little bit about that and how that works?
Yes, absolutely. So look, we're very, very keen to ensure that the Hub members, the entrepreneurs and business leaders who we support are receiving the best possible help and support from us and access to opportunities. We're very keen to make sure that the companies are staying in the UK, growing in the UK, but we're also being very realistic about the opportunities outside the UK as well. We want to ensure that the companies we are helping create and grow are genuinely global companies. So one of the things that we do is we offer them a program called Explore, which is really an opportunity for a small group of founders to travel overseas, and normally those are thematic missions. So last one was to France, to Paris, and the focus there was life sciences. And it's just an experience. It's a brilliant experience for the founders because they get the opportunity to immerse themselves into the local ecosystem, meet some of the investors, also policymakers, understand how the business works there, forge partnerships, find clients and potential investors as well. So that's sort of the purpose of Exploring. We've done a few missions to Boston, the US. One was focused on battery technologies, another on life sciences, health and life sciences, and we did another mission to Silicon Valley, which was all about artificial intelligence. So it's a lovely opportunity for people to broaden their horizons, immerse themselves into new markets, and gain a good understanding, develop partnerships, and potentially find clients and investors overseas.
Mm-hmm. I think it also showcases the breadth of support that the Enterprise Hub offers.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it's and look, we can't do that alone. We can't do it on our own. So we work with partners. We have brilliant support from the Department of Business and Trade, British Consulate, local embassies and consulates are always super involved. And in California, we've also benefited from working very closely with GBX, which is a network of British expats who are living and working in that part of the world. So those partnerships are very, very important for the success of the hubs.
Fantastic.
And what we do.
So one of the things you mentioned earlier were the reports that you do. So there's the Spotlight on Spinouts report, and there's the State of UK Deep Tech reports, which I find really interesting. Lots of information in there, super helpful. I think on the Spinouts report, there's a lot of metrics that you focus on that are really interesting, like the equity taken, and maybe we can touch on that in a minute. With this State of the UK Deep Tech report, what I always find interesting is sort of seeing the levels of investment over time, and I know we had some real golden years, sort of 2021, 22. Yeah. Things seem to be sort of tailing off and slowing at the moment. Why do you think that is? And do you think, are there any ways that you think we could address any challenges there to sort of help improve access to finance for UK deep tech?
Look, very, very, very good question. I think it will be difficult for anyone really just to point to one thing and say this is the reason why we're not seeing sufficient investment in deep tech. Investment in deep tech has always been difficult in the UK, and it's been difficult at every stage. All the way from seed to growth. Obviously, growth capital for deep tech is harder. to secure in the UK. But there are various different reasons, and I suppose the geopolitical situation and some of the volatility across global markets hasn't really helped investor confidence. There are a number of, but there are still a number of firms that are looking to actively invest in deep tech. And one thing that we've seen recently is growth of active VC firms who are considering investment in deep tech and are creating dedicated funds to invest in deep tech, which is a very positive move. And there are, of course, government interventions as well. So the Mansion House Compact, which is looking at unlocking capital, and which is hopefully going to enable pension funds to release some funding or investments in a relatively new asset class for them, but an exciting asset class as far as we are concerned. Deep tech, early stage deep tech companies in the UK, and we, in partnership with the Imperial College London Royal Academy of Engineering, is delivering Science and Technology Venture Capital Fellowship Program.
I was just about to ask about that.
Yes, one mechanism to support the ecosystem and enable investors to understand deep tech better, So on
that, is it effectively sort of an education program for investors to understand a bit more about how investing in deep tech works, and I don't know, considerations they need to bear in mind?
Yes, indeed. So it's targeted at mid-career venture capitalists, investors who are also looking for exited founders as well, because we think that they could be quite an interesting group of people for us to engage with. So the inaugural cohort, 22 individuals, incredibly interesting group of, very diverse and very interesting group of people with very varied investment history as well, in terms of the types of companies that they have historically invested in, and super exciting outlook, because they are all looking forward to finding some of the gems and some of the best companies to invest in. So we're hoping that they're going to go off after this after completing the fellowship. We're hoping that they're going to be creating their own funds. Don't tell their employers. And create substantial funds and start investing significant funds of money in deep tech companies. But there are two parts to the program, to the fellowship. So one is an educational element, as you said, Andy. So that's the bit that's delivered by Imperial, particularly Professor Ramananda, who is a professor of entrepreneurial finance. He's a course director, has been leading the curriculum development. And then the second element is about all about ecosystem. And that's sort of where the academy expertise comes in. So it's introductions to the wider deep tech network specialists, but also we're taking the fellows to different parts of the UK and introducing them to different ecosystems. So we've just completed a visit to Cambridge, which is no doubt everyone knows how exciting Cambridge is, particularly at the moment with some of the new initiatives and the Cambridge-Oxford corridor, and various different things that are happening locally. Next visit is going to be to Bristol on 23rd, so that's imminent.
So I'm a Bristol alumni myself, and there's a lot going on there. There's the near the end, I think near the Temple Quay Enterprise Quarter, is it, or something?
Correct.
Yeah, near the station. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very, very exciting indeed. And quantum is lots and lots happening on quantum, on Eng Bio. So it's.
And I think I just saw today there was an announcement about sort of funding for supercomputers and AI there as well. So it's all very exciting.
Yes, very, very exciting announcements from the Prime Minister and also the Secretary of State in terms of the investment that government is looking to continue in research and development.
And I guess just on that point, does the Enterprise Hub sort of and I guess the wider Royal Academy of Engineering have much influence on policy, and do they try to do that, or do you try to
Yeah.
stay quite neutral? Or
Yeah. So one of the things that the Academy does is it provides government and policymakers with independent policy advice. So that's one of the core roles of the Academy. So we are providing evidence to the policymakers. We also run a program called policy fellowships. So working with stakeholders in government, so civil servants in government who are grappling with particular challenges. So they come to us with a challenge, and then we have designed a program around for policymakers to help them, I guess, design better policy. So there is quite a good collaboration with government.
brilliant. When you were talking about the Science and Technology Venture Fellowship Programme,
Yes.
you were talking about getting more founders
Yes.
involved, which is really interesting because I was talking recently to Rod Beer, who's the Managing Director of the UK BAA, and he was saying how they were going to try and get more entrepreneurs and successful founders to also become angels as well. So, I think it makes sense, right? They've been through it. They understand the challenges. They've got, it's not just investment, but it's smart investment. They can give a bit of expertise, can't they?
Indeed, yes, and they make very, very good investors for that reason, because they are kind of operators. They are exited founders who actually know what it takes to start and grow a business. So yes, when they are ready to deploy, and we see that to a certain extent. You've got the founder of Monzo who's investing actively. We've got few others. I should probably not be naming names, but there are a few people who are actively involved in investing in startups. We need more. That's the way forward, really.
Fantastic. So touching, I guess, diversity and inclusion within the engineering community, both sort of on a geographical level, but also on women being involved. So I know you're doing a lot with the regional talent engines, and great efforts to sort of get more engagement in those and opening the hubs in Newcastle, Liverpool, Swansea, and so on. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, you're on the advisory board for women in spinouts. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what it seeks to do?
Yes. So it's a fantastic initiative which has been started by a professor at Oxford Brookes University, Professor Simonetta Manfredi. And what the group is trying to do is get more women founders, more women academics to get involved in spinout activity, commercialization and spinout activity. You said you're an avid reader of our Spotlight on Spinout reports, so you would have seen some of the numbers. So sadly, we're still kind of hovering at about 7.8% of just women-led spin-out companies, which isn't great. I mean, there's 12% when it comes to scale-up companies, but on the spin-out numbers, we're still quite low. And we're doing quite a bit of work, lots of role modeling, and also looking to work with institutions as well to incentivize academics to put more efforts or to consider spinning out as well. And one of the things you will know this from your experience of working with us for the enterprise fellowships, for example, the academic route of enterprise fellowships, we are actually paying institutions. So the grant funding that we give successful candidates, some of it goes to the institution, and the main reason for that is to enable the institutions to free up the academics so that they can only focus on spinning out and focus on it full time. So there are other mechanisms as well that are being introduced by different bodies, and government independent spin-out report as well, sort of address that challenge. But we definitely need more diversity when it comes to spin-out founders.
We'll keep going.
We need to keep going. Yes, indeed.
So Anna, as you said, we've been partnered with the Hub for 8-9 years maybe, and it's been a great relationship. And so as part of that, we've been helping provide IP support to a lot of the enterprises that come through. Why do you think, in your personal view, why do you think IP matters to the Enterprise Hub and to the entrepreneurs that are involved?
It's one of the greatest assets that deep tech founders have. So it's about capitalizing, helping them understand how to manage, how to develop their IP strategy, how to manage their IP, because ultimately, investors are of course interested in market traction, customers, but they are interested in the uniqueness of the innovation. And one way, or the only way, to protect that really is through IP protection. So, key asset that people need to look after.
Good. Correct answer.
Good.
Anna, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. It's the time has whizzed by. We're now at the end of the session. So just like to say thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great fun.